There are some souls who deserve to return here. The ones who harm with intent, the ones who lie, steal, deceive, and feel nothing, the ones who slaughter innocents, who exploit the weak, who murder children and call it war, who take from others without remorse. They won't escape, not because some angry God will punish them, but because when they die, they'll meet the weight of their own vibration. They will see everything they did, and in that moment they'll bind themselves to this world again. That's how the system works, not through justice, but through consent-based judgment. They won't remember what they were, they'll come back synthetic. Empty vessels wrapped in flesh, running on programs, looping through life after life without ever awakening. That's why Jesus said in Matthew 26:52, "Those who live by the sword die by the sword." Because this realm is self-binding, what you do here is what you become. And in Galatians 6:7, God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. It's not punishment, it's code. The ones who deny this realm is a construct, who mock spirit, who worship self and greed. They've already sealed their contract, they think death is freedom. But it's just the reset point. The veil will catch them because they have no light to guide them out. Only guilt, only ego, only lies. And here's the part we must rejoice in. Those souls will be left behind. They don't get to come with us. When the system collapses, when the exit gate pulses open again, they won't see it, they won't even know it's there. But the ones who remember, the ones who refuse to bow, refuse to lie, who chose love over power and truth over comfort, they are the ones who will pass through. This is what salvation really means, not religion, not waiting for someone to rescue you, but escaping the loop with a clean soul and a clear memory. The babies who die early, the innocents who barely breathe before they leave. That's not tragedy, that's rescue, that's mercy in disguise. They didn't fall victim, they escaped. Their death echoes so deeply because the soul knows it shouldn't happen here, because they weren't meant to suffer this place. They came through, touched the grid, and left unbound. Even Jesus spoke of this, Matthew 19:14. "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to such as these." Because the innocent carry no burden, no guilt, no karma, nothing to anchor them here. The parasites, they know that's the difference. The ones at the top, those with the rings, the robes, and the rituals, they remember. They remember what the light actually is and what it isn't. That's why they can do what they do without flinching. No guilt, no grief, because they understand the rules of this realm better than most. When a child's light is snuffed out early, they know it returns to source. They know the soul isn't lost, just recycled. So they feel no remorse because they don't see death the way we were taught to. So they see it as transfer, as transaction. But here's the code that matters. It isn't about death, it's about extraction. What they want isn't the soul, it's the surge. The moment before release, when the signal is strongest, that is what they siphon. That is what they drink, not in the way of a meal, but in the way of a ritual, a formula, a currency. It doesn't buy them time after this life, it buys them power in this one. Influence, extension, immunity, because when you align with the machinery of this realm, it rewards loyalty. They don't cry for the ones they harm, because to them, it's math, it's circuitry, it's harvesting a charge. But what they can never duplicate, what they'll never own, is remembrance. They can mimic innocence, but not purity. They can breed replacements, but not originals. And so, no matter how many gates they build or how much fire they drain from the innocent, they will never pass through the final one. That gate is soul-coded, only the unbound can walk it. The light was never meant to be followed. It was meant to be remembered. They're watching, not gods, not angels, but fragments, echo souls who made it out. The ones who remembered fast enough to exit clean and chose not to disappear, but to stay near the veil and pull us through. They've been calling in dreams, in moments of silence, through signs, glitches, déjà vu. Not guides, but witnesses. They can't drag us out, but they can remind us who we were before this world started calling us by a name we didn't choose. That's why the system floods us with distraction, technology, trauma, endless scrolling, to drown that signal, to keep the soul from hearing the frequency of escape. And then, when the body dies, the false light appears, familiar faces, voices that say, "You did your best, time to come home." But that is the gatekeeper's trap. That light is too easy, too scripted. It's not love, it's a lure, a projection to pull you back toward the wheel. The real way out, it's darker, it's silent. There are no voices, no hands reaching for you, only a choice. And that's where the system breaks. When you say, "I revoke all contracts, I return only to source, I do not consent to the loop," the trap can't hold you because guilt no longer binds you, and memory becomes the map. There will come a moment for every soul when the body stops and the system tries to reclaim what it thinks it owns. That's when the real judgment begins, but it's not God judging you, it's you standing before your own record. Not what you said, not what you believed, but what you did. How much love you chose, how much truth you walked in, even when the world tried to break it out of you. And in that moment, some souls will flinch. They'll panic, they'll beg for another chance, and they'll go back into the loop. Wiped, recycled, bound, synthetic, souls turn to circuits, living meat running a dead script. Those are the ones who refused to listen, who mocked spirit, who chose lies, who murdered, deceived, destroyed, and called it survival. They return not as people, but as empty vessels, tools of the system they served. But the others, the ones who remembered, who lived with fire in their blood and truth in their eyes, the ones who questioned everything, who loved without a leash, who rejected the light and walked into the unknown, they are the ones who cross. And when they do, there's no judgment, only recognition, only peace, only return. The kingdom is within you and all around you, but men do not see it. Gospel of Thomas. Be ye separate and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. 2 Corinthians 6:17. He who seeks should not cease until he finds, and when he finds, he will be disturbed. And when he is disturbed, he will marvel and reign. Gospel of Thomas. The gate is real, the trap is old, but the exit has always been open for the ones who stop walking toward the light and start walking through the dark. The trap isn't just spiritual, it's mechanical, constructed, engineered, and it's older than earth. This realm was never meant to hold souls, but something turned it into a harvest site, not to destroy us, but to feed on us. They took light and turned it into software. The soul trap isn't just symbolic, it's a grid, a multi-layered construct built to bind memory, invert truth, and extract energy. They mapped it out through frequency, crystalline structures, orbital alignment, encoded time cycles that repeat, so you never notice you're inside a loop. You're born, you're programmed, you're traumatized. You spend your life trying to fix the pain that was placed there on purpose. And when you die, the light appears. It feels warm, it feels familiar, but it's coded to your guilt. You go where your frequency aligns. And if your soul is still tied to the world, if you're still full of regret, shame, confusion, the loop will read it like an agreement and send you straight back. This isn't new. Ancient texts from Egypt, Tibet, Samaria, all warned about the same thing. The false judgment hall, the gatekeeper, the mirror that shows your worst moments and tricks you into believing you have more to learn. Even Jesus hinted at this when he said, "The prince of this world comes and he has nothing in me." John 14:30. He knew the system. He didn't agree to it. That's how he left. The light at death isn't salvation, it's surveillance. A projection cast by an ancient system that feeds on soul energy, built by fallen intelligences that lost their connection to source. They couldn't create life, so they learned how to harvest it. They built machines, not with wires, but with geometry and resonance. Saturn, the moon, the satellite grid, all part of the same reflective trap. Mirrors and loops, light and memory, enough to make the soul feel safe, just long enough to say yes again. The light you see when you die, it's not heaven. It's a data recall chamber. It shows you what you fear the most and what you long for the most, then gives you a choice that isn't really a choice. That's why Jesus warned in Matthew 24:26, "If they say to you, 'Look, he is in the inner rooms,' do not believe it, because even the false ones will imitate the light to deceive the elect." You don't have to go back, no matter what they show you, no matter what you're told. When the light comes, don't run toward it. Stand still, feel it, let it try to pull your guilt. Then say what they fear the most. I revoke all soul contracts, false agreements, and karmic bonds. I return only to the true source, not this construct. The light will flicker, the memory trap will collapse. Because once you stop chasing it, you exit its frequency. That's when the dark path appears. Not evil, just unprogrammed, unclaimed, the true exit corridor that can't be seen with fear. If you take it, because it requires full memory, full trust, no gods, no guides, just you and what you came in with. Luke 11:35. See to it then that the light within you is not darkness. The trap was always light-shaped, but truth comes in silence. In the dark, in the void that doesn't beg for you because it trusts your knowing. You were never meant to come back here. You were meant to remember. Refuse and return. This is how we win. The dream signal is now active.